Pack your bags. We're going on a trip. The destination? Well, that's a surprise. Are you ready? Today's episode is all about the journey. While the destination is exciting, it's the insight and self-reflection of the journey that truly prepares you to navigate your way to the destination. So today, we're going on a deep dive into the journey to birth on this episode of the Journey to Birth podcast. Imagine transforming the anxiety, the worry, and the uncertainty that you have about your birth right now into the confidence and knowledge that will end everyone's questions about your natural birth and even have them asking you how you did it. Are you ready to learn how you can stop imagining your wonderful birth and start preparing to experience it? Well, then you are in the right place. I'm Tristan, the creator of the Natural Birth Compass online childbirth education program, and I'm coming to your ears with perspectives of birth from across time and cultures to help you become more informed and confident in your birth. So grab your mug, fill it with your favorite tea, and let's begin the journey to birth. Healthy baby, healthy mom. At the end of the birth, this is what everyone wants, right? Well, yes, but the problem with this statement and this intention is that it implies the outcome is the only thing of true importance in birth. But there's so much more to birth than just the outcome. And to dismiss the experience of preparing for birth, the journey to birth, is to dismiss the transformation that you go through in pregnancy and birth and overlook the opportunity to explore who you will be in your birth. The experience of pregnancy and birth is life-changing for every person who's involved, from the actual pregnant person to your birth partner, and certainly for the person being born. But only you and maybe your birth partner will truly carry the experience of your birth for life. Your care team, on the other hand, well, they have another birth to go to, and for the most part, the memories of your birth are going to fade for them. But for you, those memories will be lasting, memories that you have to live with for the rest of your life. So I want to make sure that you have the tools to make them great and powerful memories so you think back on them with feelings of accomplishment and joy. So where does this journey begin? When it comes to pregnancy and birth, no one can fully share in your experience. No one can see it through your eyes or feel it through your body. And there's no right or wrong way to get to birth or to go through birth. And because of that, you are going to be offered every variety of suggestion, every opinion, every story, whether you ask for them or not. Just like in all aspects of life, you can't control things outside of you. You can't control all the stories people will share or the words your care providers may use to talk about your pregnancy or your baby or your birth. But you can control your responses and your reactions. And this is part of the journey that pregnancy and birth provides for you and allows you to explore if you choose to grab at that opportunity. This is the part where you get to see how strong you can become, physically, but also mentally and emotionally. Now, you can never know what your birth will bring. No one ever does, no matter how many times you go through it or see birth happen. But you can be prepared to walk through anything that your birth brings with grace and confidence if you get clear about yourself, how you relate to the world around you, how you cultivate your internal world, how you can be in control in any situation, even if the situation is completely unexpected. And this is different for each one of us, but it can only come from within you. You see, each one of us approaches life with a slightly different perspective that's been shaped by our experiences, both good and bad. Through a lifetime of those experiences, you have developed dominant traits that you use to interact with people and things in your environment, and that you use to maneuver through a variety of situations that you face on a daily basis. From simple things like how you get up in the morning, how you commute to work or school or for errands, to how you manage your personal relationships, your social relationships, and relationships with your colleagues. It shows through in everything you do, and it will be apparent in your birth if you know what to look for. In my experience, the journey to birth is not all about learning practical information like stages of labor, timing contractions, or rates of cervical dilation. These pieces of information are good to be aware of, especially if this kind of information gives you confidence, which is a good thing to know about yourself. But birth itself is organic, and it doesn't know the rules that are written in our textbooks. Your birth will follow its own time based on your rhythms in life and how you prepare those rhythms for a birth that is perfect for you, which means much of your labor is also under your control. Knowing yourself, starting to see your rhythms and interactions as you go through your day, this is the journey to birth that I want you to start to know intimately. Do you see yourself as a relaxed and go with the flow type? Or are you someone who needs a plan and has a hard time being spontaneous? Are you the type who needs to know everything about everything? Do you easily share your feelings or are you more reserved? Do you love to bubble with excitement or are you more conservative? If I told you that you needed to be ready for a trip to a mystery country in 1 hour, how does that make you feel? Excited? Nervous? Scared? Curious? I know it can seem so far from an event like birth to examine your responses and reactions to the most mundane parts of your day, or to something like a surprise mystery trip. But if you slow down and really get to know yourself on this level, you will be so much more prepared for the amplification of these traits as they may come out in your birth, when you might be overwhelmed, or lost, or curious. And as you start to understand these things about yourself, I would encourage you to share them with your birth partner so they can start to understand how you might respond in birth. And it's even better if you can also encourage them to undergo the same exploration of themselves so they can be equally prepared for how they might respond to the potential pressure of supporting you through your labor and birth. So you see, in life and in birth, no one can fully feel your experience. Your birth is shaped by who you are, and who you are will continue to be shaped by your pregnancy, your birth, and parenting, and all the new experiences yet to come. So my big takeaway that I want you to get from this episode is to remember that preparing for your birth starts with understanding you, and it will be shaped by the rhythms of your life. You can't control everything that happens in birth, but you can stay in control when you intimately know your rhythms, your interactions, and your responses, and make your journey to birth about becoming clear on how you want to be in your birth rather than what you want from birth. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening and spending time with me today as we explored a bit more about your journey to birth.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.
Thank you for listening and being open to new perspectives as we spent this time together. As always, let me know how I can support your journey. If you have topics you want to hear about, guests you'd like to hear from, questions or comments to share, let me know. This podcast is always transforming, and you can help shape it into something that helps thousands of families have the best pregnancy, birth, and transition into parenthood possible by leaving a comment or a review, or sharing this podcast with others in your life who will benefit from our discussions. Find me on the socials at Natural Birth Compass, or email me at info@naturalbirthcompass.com. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss out on our next episode. Wishing you a wonderful journey to birth.